Bangladesh has just come out from the least development country to a developing country. We will be just heading towards the middle income, then we are opting for the higher income. But with the advent of fourth industrial revolution, some scary informations are coming up. Being my wife is a labor economist, she just shares so many scary information with me that this job cut in this sector, no sector, financial sector, blah, blah sector. Sometimes also in our coding, there will be less coders also. But then where we will go? But we need to grow. That's why this is the kind of leadership. And from the different leadership vertical, we'd like to listen some of the hope and the challenges so that we will work on. Now, first of all, I would like to request to come to the stage. Who will moderate the show tonight? Our President, Almas Kabir. Can you please give a big round of applause to Almas Kabir? Next, Mr. Almas Kabir, I would like to request that Kunitake Anjo. He's the former president and CEO of Sony Corporation. Can you give a big number of applause to them? Okay. Mr. Kunitake Anjo has been on the top figures of the world of technology and one of the major figures behind spearheading Sony into what it is today, having served as the global hub president of Sony Corporations. Okay. Sony Corporations. So with the achievement, he is the main well-respected among the world of IT, and his closest peers include some of the most influential people in IT, one of which would be Mr. Steve Jobs, who shared a close friendship with Mr. Andrew and shared the stage in many international IT conferences together. Mr. Andrew, out of many things, is also great friends of Bangladesh. Many places while working externally, he has visited Bangladesh a few times of his own accord and has many good things to say about its IT talents. Mr. Andrew joined Sony in 1969 after graduating from the University of Tokyo School of Economics. He was named Executive Deputy President and Chief Operating Officer in April 2000, later becoming the President of Sony Corporations on June 2000. His secondary title was altered to the Group's Chief Operating Officer in 2003 and the Global Hub President in 2004. Thank you so much, Mr. Ando. Our next speaker, I would like to welcome Ms. Sarah Kersley, CEO of Shimi Technologies. Sarah Kersley is a mission-driven entrepreneur and CEO of Shimi Technologies, a early-stage company focused on an equitable and efficient future of work for apparel industry. Ms. Kersley has worked at the intersection of design, sustainability, and technology for over a decade and has created design and manufacturing software for hundreds of thousands of designers, engineers, and factory owners all over the world. The Grand Challenge for the Retail Transformation in 2018 was a finalist for the Tommy Hilfiger Social Innovation Prize in 2019 and was selected to be part of MIT Solve Work as the Future Scholar as one of the New York Fashion Tech Lab. Prior to starting Shimi, Sarah led Sustainable Product Design Manufacturing program at Autodesk. Sarah has an BFA part-time institute on MBA from University of San Francisco and adjunct faculty of New York University. Now, from the two foreign speakers, now I would not introduce much about the local industry verticals because we are running short of time. So I would request our Mr. Selim R. F. Hussain, Selim Bhai, Managing Director and CEO of Bragg Bank. Thank you so much. No introduction, these guys are veteran in the banking industry. Can you just give a good... Next one, Mr. Farooq Hussain, former President of Dutch Bangla Chamber and the former Vice President of BGMEA, Bangladesh Garments and Manufacturing Association. He's the Managing Director of Giant Group. Can you give a big round of applause for Farooq Bhai? Next, our senior brother, our industry senior brother, Syed Mahbubur Rahman, Managing Director of MTBL, you know all. Just recent past President of Bankers Association of Bangladesh, a graduate from Dhaka University from IB MBA. Next, and then industry leader, also an association leader from the Metropolitan Chamber to ABCCI, graduate from one of the top school, Wharton School of University of Pennsylvania, Mr. Manzoor, Managing Director of Apex Group. Apex Footwear. Okay. আমরা কি একটু জোরে করতলা দিতে পারি মঞ্জুর ভাইয়ের জন্য ফুটওয়্যার If I am not mistaken, the last speaker, last one, another scholar, Dr. Arifudullah, Managing Director of ACI, obtained a PhD in mathematics from University of California, San Diego. He is the Managing Director of ACI Group. Can I request Arif Bhai, please come to the stage. বাংলায় আবার একটু কষ্ট দিবে ভাই Can we give a big round of applause for all these speakers, panelists? Thank you so much. তোমার কি ভিডিওটা রেডি হয়েছে? Just bear with us for 2 minutes, just so that you just get from the outside speaker, just a snapshot of our IT industry. Then Mr. Almas Kobir is going to take over the floor. Thank you so much.
Is the leading national trade body for software and IT-enabled service industry in Bangladesh. It has been working to develop a vibrant ICT industry in the country since 1997. Starting its journey with 18 chartered members, the association currently stands at nearly 1,400 software and IT member companies. In 2019, the size of the local ICT market stood at 1.5 billion US dollars, with a market share of more than 1 billion US dollars globally. The local ICT market harbors a huge potential for employment generation, which achieved more than 1 million job creations as of 2019. BASIS plays a vital role in promoting and achieving the employment targets of the industry, as well as the country's export targets. BASIS has enabled the export of software, ITES and hardware products and services in more than 60 countries. Moreover, around 40 international companies operate offshore development centers, OCD, in Bangladesh, most of whom are BASIS members. The export and employment target of ICT industry is to earn more than 5 billion US dollars and generate employment of more than 2 million skilled workforce by 2023. Alongside striving towards this vision, BASIS is also a key player in influencing government policies to create a favorable business environment and a consumer-friendly ICT sector. BASIS works in close collaboration with the government of Bangladesh towards a mutual goal of creating a digital Bangladesh. With this vision, BASIS has taken the initiative for the 16th time to host its annual Mega ICT Exposition to promote the industry locally as well as internationally. Welcome to BASIS SoftExpo 2020, the largest technology expo in South Asia. This year, we are coming with the slogan of transforming life through innovation.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We are, as you see, I am surrounded by all the luminaries, the business leaders on the stage, and I'm sure that you have been eagerly waiting for to hearing what they have to say about our IT industry and about innovation and about our SoftExpo. We are very lucky, as you have heard from our convener, that we have among ourselves the former president of Sony, Ando-san. And without much ado, I don't want to waste any more time. I request Ando-san to please deliver your keynote speech, and then maybe after that we will have some small discussions. Ando-san, over to you.
Well, hello everyone. Firstly, I would like to thank President Arma Kamil, and the Vice President Mashfikir Rahman, and of course, Senior VP Farhana Rahman for inviting me to speak at this BASIS SoftExpo 2020. I'm so honored and excited to be here. Why am I so excited? Because I can foresee such an exciting future of this young country. There is one other person I want to thank, and who really brought me here to speak in front of you tonight. And he also saved me back in 1997 by taking a huge order, taking a huge risk of placing the order. I recall almost like a 5,000 units of VIO PCs. Will you show the picture? Yes. Which, oh, maybe I should move, right? Like this? Okay, I should operate now. And this is a PC, whoops. Oh, I saw this, but I can't see on the screen. What happened? Which one? What?
Presentation slide?
Yeah.
You want to show here? Oh, it's already here.
Yeah, it's already here.
Yeah,
Now,
you can
what-
just
how
change
do I
it.
push? Just change this one.
Yes, this one.
Okay.
Side.
All right. Go back to the, yeah, this one. This one. Okay. Sorry, I didn't give it time. Well, I was talking about the president who saved me back in 1997 by taking a huge risk of placing the order of almost like a 5,000 VIO PCs, which then practically no history of success in the IT industry in Japan, except for the miserable failure of the launching of the first VIO PC models ever introduced to the Japanese market 4 months earlier. This young buyer was at Bangladesh at one of the largest PC retailers at Akihabara, a well-known electronic shopping center in Tokyo. He must have seen something similar to what Bill Gates of Microsoft saw, because every time Mr. Gates visited Sony's pavilion at the Comdex show in Las Vegas back then, he used to say that VIO will tell us the future of PC. This VIO business, which I started as the president of the IT company of Sony Hardware Group, had grown to make sales of closer to 10 billion US dollars business before the Lehman shock in 2008. 10 years later, this same Bangladesh person appeared in front of me as the founder of a startup company of IT software development company called BJ IT. And he asked me for support. And this was the moment I had long waiting for, to return the great favor I had never forgotten that I got from him. Today, BJIT has become the leading IT software development company in Bangladesh, operating globally. The reason why I talked about my personal episode with Akbar is not just simply tell you how beautiful our friendship has been, but our story will tell us our two countries, Bangladesh and Japan, with a long, historically trusted relationship, will have a great opportunity to compete in the global market if we establish a strong partnership together. In fact, this partnership would create another winning team. Who do you think is the first winning team? It's a Silicon Valley and Bangalore in India. I think Bangladesh and Japan are so complementary in many areas, such as population and English, command of English, and also ICT skill. Especially the current 124 million population of Japan is predicted to become less than 10 million in 20 years, with the age bracket of over 65 years old taking up 36% of the entire population. Although Tokyo is still attracting younger generations from local areas, it has become increasingly difficult for local areas to employ young generation workers. So, it is said that 65% of the current business owners will have to abandon their business because they cannot find their successors after their retirement. Our own collaborative teamwork of two countries, Bangladesh and Japan, has already produced a very successful result. Japan International Cooperation Agency, well known as JICA, just initiated BJET training program, as you see here, in 2017. Under this program, there has been already 213 young engineers selected through the very competitive test. I hear only 1 out of 100 applicants passes this severe test. The quality level of these Bangladesh engineers who went to Japan is by far better than the level that we could hire in Japan, especially for those companies located in local areas. I can tell you how well this program has been accepted from my own, own experiences. Nagano City is one of such local areas in Japan who long waited for the arrival of young Bangladesh engineers who were treated, look at this, almost like celebrities, visiting the mayor of Nagano City, visiting also vice governor of Nagano Prefecture, and so on, and welcome parties. Earlier, I mentioned the winning team, and there is no question that the current winners are the mighty platformers, commonly called GAFA and Microsoft. In our daily life, we cannot think about our life without using those benefits, or you might say conveniences, provided by GAFA. If you think about it though, we are using those conveniences almost for free. Those platformers seem to be dominating the world right now. Thus, then, my question is, their dominance will continue or not? Or if they do, how long? I have lived long enough to see the ups and downs of mighty companies in the global market. If you look at the changes of the world top 10 market capital value companies, as you will see in 1989, Japanese company, which are shown in blue color here, dominated, but no presence after the year 2000. I don't know whether you can see back there from those charts. Sorry. And at one time, some mighty companies such as GE, IBM, and Nokia disappeared almost in the next decade. And in 2009, Chinese companies, which are shown in red, and European companies, which are shown in yellow, came out very strong right after in 2000. And then, in 2019, GAFA plus Microsoft and so-called AT, Alibaba and Tencent from China, were taking the top 8 positions maybe except for Warren Buffett company in the middle, Berkshire Hathaway. So this year, 2020, is the beginning of the new decade, and I'm pretty sure that the paradigm shift will take place because we are now in the middle of the fourth industrial revolution, and who knows who will be the winner in this decade. It is said that the core technologies that drives the fourth industrial revolution are typically AI and IoT, where everything is connected with internet, data are collected and analyzed by AI and used by mighty platformers. In recent years, in Europe, US, and Japan, people are becoming more cautious and focus on what we are losing instead of getting, because there are so many incidents about computer security issues. Our personal data are being used by platformers without the owner's knowledge and consent. A famous, maybe I clicked too fast, American author and economist George Gilder, whom you see here, in his recent book entitled Life After Google, he wrote that as long as their business model depends on the centralized system with the use of what's called cloud computing technology, they will be replaced by newcomers with a distributed system whose core technology is, of course, blockchain. I strongly believe that people are now coming to a crossroad where we have to make a choice between me, myself, against the convenience. As Mr. Gilder points out, there's a way by the use of new technology to enjoy convenience without sacrificing our privacy. As many of you here are IT experts, so you may know that the trend of a cloud computing system, which symbolize GAFA, has been shifting more to the edge computing system where data are handled and processed locally. What I would like to point out here is that when there is a paradigm shift, there will be huge opportunities for innovation. This is the reason why I believe that Japan come back again in the global market as a strong contender, because I still believe that we have the strong hardware technology in IoT, robotics, and various sensor devices, including Sony's imaging sensor, at the core technology of the fourth industrial revolution. Since Japan have the expected shortage of software engineers, almost like, sorry, I skipped, the 550,000 in 2030. And Bangladesh's strength is software development with abundant young people. So if we work together as a partner, it will be possible to repeat what the Silicon Valley and Bangalore, India did in 1990s. And we will create a new winning team. So in closing, I'd like to share with you as to why Sony became the symbol of innovative companies during the post-war Japan, from the ashes of the burnt-up city Tokyo. We have co-founders at Sony, Mr. Ibuka, a genius engineer, an engineer by training, but became a marketing man for selling series of innovative products. Upon founding the company at the age of 37, Mr. Ibuka wrote his vision and the strategies in the prospectus, only 6 months after the World War II, with a strong sense of mission to rebuild Japan by the engineering power, because human resources were the only asset Japan had at that time. As you will see in his prospectus, that he declared that he would create an ideal factory where young engineers can, with a sincere motivation, can exercise the professional and the technological skill through the higher Sony spirit, is what makes Sony so different from others. Now, let us make a great team together, Bangladesh and Japan. My trip this time to Dhaka helped me to solidify my strong determination to move toward that goal.
Thank you very much, Ando-san. Great presentation on especially on the prospects of ICT in Bangladesh and vis-a-vis Japan, and a very short, brief history of Sony Corporation. We were actually looking forward to hearing more about Sony, but maybe on a later occasion. All of you maybe one or two questions, and if you can just briefly give your ideas about what you think in those respects. I'll start with Sarah, who is, she has been working with Fourth Industrial Revolution, and she has been helping the RMG companies, the RMG manufacturers, to graduate into the Fourth Industrial Revolution. So my question to you is, what is the experience, your experience with our RMG manufacturers regarding innovation? And how will, according to you, how will 4IR will affect our industries in Bangladesh?
Those are great questions. Thank you. I first want to frame my answers just in the last thing we saw from that really inspiring keynote. I think it's tempting for us to begin to design what Industry 4.0 might mean to an industry without thinking about the people involved. You know, Industry 4.0 is so focused on machines, capability, automation, generating and capturing data from the factory floor. We sometimes don't think about the people who are working alongside those machines, regardless of how instrumented a factory is. So my background, I've worked in digital transformation in Industry 4.0 in automotive, consumer electronics, light engineering, and got very interested in the RMG sector about 7 years ago on my first trip to Bangladesh. And what I like so much about working in Bangladesh is that there is a real appetite for innovation in this country. You know, our work, we had a crazy idea. We said, we want to help the RMG workers who are in danger of being replaced by automated equipment and help them move into the jobs of the future. And we said, well, how do you do that? And you know, I'm a technologist, so I always focus on the interface and the user experience. And we said, well, some of the workers can't read or write. Others, you know, have no formal education after 4th grade. How do we build an interface that leapfrogs them into highly technical work? You know, the work that's necessary to run a robot, to look at how a robot is performing and say, what's wrong with this situation? I'm going to evaluate it and reprogram that robot to do the right thing. That's hard work, and really looking at creative ways that we can help people jump right into doing this work. And the answer for us was use video games. You know, I live in New York City and I ride the subway every day, and everyone around me is playing video games. And, you know, I can't see you all because the lights are so bright, but I imagine if I asked how many of you would rather sit in a classroom and learn something versus how many of you would rather play a video game to learn something, I could imagine a lot of hands would go up in the room. So we've had a wonderful time over the last 18 months piloting and learning ways that we can help our RMG workers upskill to the jobs of the future in RMG, but also help factories who are interested in diversifying into other industrial sectors. And I also have to say, just as a little startup, the support that we've received from companies in Bangladesh has been unprecedented. BGMEA has been extraordinarily helpful in guiding our approach and testing things with us and telling us what's right and what's wrong. DBL Group has been an amazing partner to help us pilot, and it's just been an extraordinary ride, and I'm delighted that the next 2 years will continue to focus on Bangladesh.
Thank you. What innovations do you think are needed to cope up with the challenge of the fourth industrial revolution?
Well, the thing I like so much about a system that's based on Industry 4.0 is that it's flexible. You know, you have a system that's responsive. If a problem comes up or a change comes up, it's a system that can respond to it quickly. You don't have to reconfigure the system over time. I also really like the Toyota production principles, and it's a system that's very easy for continuous improvement and Kaizen. And I think what's needed is a combination of a change in mindset, a mutual respect, and a wish for decent work of the future. And also just ingenuity and hard work, which I really feel everyone I've met in Bangladesh has impressed me that they have to the hills. So that's my thoughts.
Okay, thank you. Because we are talking about RMG, my next question would be to Mr. Farooq Hassan. Just grab the mic. Mr. Hassan, you are a leader of the BGMEA, the largest export industry that we have in Bangladesh. How prepared do you think are our RMG manufacturers in tackling the fourth industrial revolution? And also, are you planning any rehabilitation of the employees who are or who will be laid off because of the 4IR? Do you have any plans to rehabilitate them, or upskilling them or reskilling them?
Thank you, Almas. It's the largest export product from Bangladesh. And last financial year, our export was $34 billion. And it is not easy to export $34 billion where we don't have our own raw materials. We don't produce much cotton here. We don't have a petrochemical, whereas the industry have gone to this $34 billion export. Yes, now for last year, our export we have a negative growth. Because I believe that globally there is a negative growth also in the global market, as well as we could not do much in design development and research. So coming back to this industrial 4IR, basically most of some of our companies are using ERP, but I believe and I think our company should go for more ERP solution in the factory, and then it should be from the software, it should be cost effective, user friendly, and it should help. So this 4IR, I definitely believe that it will increase our productivity, our efficiency, and for that we also, the reason that we lost some workforce because in garment industry we have a huge workforce and the largest worker are employed over there. So we have set up some training center where we are trying to enhance their skill because we believe that the new generation are more technological knowledge they have, more advancement the technological. So we should train them, and we have set up some training center. And there is a university we already set up, BGME University of Fashion Technology, where we have made also some MOU we have signed with different university across the world, and we are taking their knowledge so that we can take forward this industry. Because I strongly believe that we have a lot of opportunities in RMG sector, but also the people who are working in this industry, because of machinery upgradation, technology upgradation, there will be some losses of workforce, but we can, and we are using this employment to forward linkage and backward linkage industry. So I believe that coming days, more skill development is more required in our industry, and design and development, we can take more forward linkage.
Thank you. You see, fourth industrial revolution, when it will actually finally take over Bangladesh, people will lose job, especially in the RMG, in any manual industry actually. RMG industry will not be an exception. So, like I have been discussing this in many places, in many forums, that how about reskilling some of our RMG workers in another, career? Just for an example, even yesterday in the inaugural speech, I was suggesting that why not take these female workers from the RMG industry and train them in caregiving or nursing, because we have an acute shortage of nurses in Bangladesh. So have you been thinking in reskilling, or do you have any plans in the future for this? Just a short answer maybe.
Yeah, we are doing all that because as I said that BUFT in our university, in next step we are setting up a nurses training center also there, and I think that we are going to set more training institute where we will reskill and we will train them on that.
Yeah, thank you. Because we are talking about manufacturing, I'll go to Mr. Syed Nasim Manzoor. Nasim, you are a manufacturer, you are in the manufacturing industry, you are the immediate past president of the Metropolitan Chamber also. How do you think technology can increase profitability without risking unemployment?
Thank you. I think this is the challenge that the whole world is facing about employability and how do you balance efficiency and job creation? And if I go back to the founding spirit that Anderson talked about, I think I'd like to start from there, the founding spirits of freedom and open-mindedness. May I say that Bangladesh was created along those same principles. So if you look at Japan, I think we can take some inspiration from Japan. We have a lot in common with Japan, as was pointed out. Our only resource is human resource. We don't have oil, we have some gas, we have no other natural resource. So I believe personally that the manufacturing space and the opportunity to be a the value-added chain remains open for the next 25 years for Bangladesh. However, you need to skill, upskill, reskill. Now, I'm a big believer in appropriate technology, as was pointed out by a previous speaker. The fourth industrial revolution does not mean for Bangladesh that all the jobs will be taken over by robots. It doesn't mean that anywhere. But it can replace some of the low-value, low-meaning jobs with more meaningful jobs. Now, if I look at the RMG industry or the footwear export industry, where a company that you are involved with has already announced that by 2021, there will be no physical samples. There will be only digital samples, digital twins. Now, in our factories that I work in, we do ODM production. So we move from OEM to ODM to brand manufacturing. Original design manufacturing requires product design capability. We don't have the digital designers, we don't have digital pattern makers. So how hard is it, as Farooq Bhai was saying, to take someone who's worked manually on pattern making for the last 10 years and turned them into a digital, it's not have changed. If you look at our business lists, we are using algorithms to drive discounting. We are using RFID to move inventory. We are even using in Bangladesh facial recognition to track retail movement in the store. All of this needs people to implement the systems. So if you come back to the digital transformation that was mentioned, I read in one of these papers, digital transformation is 10% algorithm, 20% hardware, but 70% people transformation. It comes back to people. So I personally believe that Bangladesh must not lose its core competitive advantage, which is people. It's a question how we can use our people to work more meaningfully. And if I look at the change in attitude of the youngsters coming to the job force, and this is where your age and my age will show, 25 years ago when we wanted to hire people, there were 10,000 people waiting for the job. Today there are 10,000 jobs in the factories and millions of people unemployed, but we can't get people. So we as employers have to change the nature of the jobs if you're going to create the jobs of the future. Thank you.
And also, it also means that we really need to upskill the people, because without the skills, I mean, people will remain unemployed because they might be educated, but they're not skilled, so they are unemployed. But another question to you: do you think it's a good idea to regulate or stagger the adoption of technology in the industries to handle the mass unemployment? Do you think there should be a regulation that, okay, you cannot say automate your industry not more than 20% in 1 year, something like that?
No, absolutely not. I don't think you can regulate technology. It's like you're trying to control water.
The adoption of technology.
Adoption even. If you look at what's happening in garment already, and Farooq Bhai knows better than I, the sweater industries have already moved from semi-automatic jacquard machines to fully automatic. We as CEOs are paid money to create value for our shareholders. We have to drive efficiency, but we can create models. And if I may say, Bangladesh has been fantastic in finding models that work for us. So if I can say, Bangladesh has not only pole vaulted technology, we have found things that work for us. So if you look at the factories, we are using technology, but we're creating new kinds of jobs. Whether they are repairing the machines, whether it's new kinds of product, or whether it is simply the service industry, which is going to drive Bangladesh in the next 10 to 15.
Thank you. Next question is, I'll change the subject actually, to our Dr. Arif Dola. You see, Dr. Dola, ACI is an IT-savvy company. We all know that. You are also very passionate about IT and mathematics as a mathematician yourself. It's a very general question to you. How have you benefited from the automation in the group, ACI group? And was there any innovation that has proven beneficial in your group in general? The general automation that you have done over the years, what are the real benefits that you have seen, and was there any particular innovation that has made some significant difference?
Of course, I think that technology has very significantly allowed our organization to reach out to many of the national initiatives, be it agriculture, be it healthcare. In many areas, we have been able to use the data to understand a lot of what is happening. In general, I would say that, I would say generally, not about our organization, that the fourth industrial revolution means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. But what I would say is what Bangladesh needs to do, or what companies need to do, is they need to seriously look at all the data they already have. We have a lot of different silos of data within organizations, and we should look at our internal data and external data and try to look at how to generate insight and look at the decision-making process within an organization. Very important to understand, and we look very closely to our data and the decision-making process, the flow chart of the critical decisions that an organization makes to improve the performance of the company, to serve the customer better, or to understand its own internal efficiency better. As we look at this, a lot of Industry 4.0 opportunities start popping up. So it's very important that organizations understand their decision process, see what are the small scale automation they can do, and then try to see where they can scale up. I think this process, it's a difficult process, but as we do it, I think there is a tremendous opportunity for Bangladesh to improve its, because we don't have many of the intermediate information systems available. If we want to make a big mark on the fourth industrial revolution, it is actually, we are in the right position because we don't have those intermediate semi-efficient systems. We can leapfrog straight, just like Bikash and other kind of examples of that nature. We can leapfrog into a very, very efficient system where we can have seamless transformation of data. As you know that nowadays data mobility is very high. This is new also. This is new to the whole world, that it doesn't matter which kind of source it is. You can have very data agnostic translations. We should be able to use that in a very significant way to improve the efficiency in this country. Just to give you a small example, I think, in my mind, I've been doing a lot of calculations around, say, the Bangladesh goods market, the movement of agricultural produce from the source to the end. And we calculate that only from wrong decision making, maybe about 150,000 crore taka is lost. Now, Industry 4.0 can allow us to get rid of all of that, or at least reduce it to 1/10 that number. Now, that is a very significant size of our country's GDP. This is wealth lost only because of lack of information and lack of communication between databases and inability of decision systems to intervene online and dynamically when we make the decision. It's very important that human beings have data available, the right kind of data available that enhance the quality of their decision. If we can do this a little bit better, that much wealth can be created in Bangladesh with the existing throughput of economic activity. Now, in addition to that, think of all the possibilities it will create. Think about online learning, online training, all the things we should do directly because we don't have those intermediate infrastructure. We don't need them. We don't have that inertia that exists in other countries. So in that way, I think that, we as an organization, we are only a small part, but if we all do this together, there's a huge gain. But we have to make it more of a campaign, a very serious, aggressive campaign, because Bangladesh has missed many boats. We missed the data entry boat, we missed the normal C programming boat, the .NET programming boat, but at least Industry 4.0 we should be able to catch. With this, I would like to end my...
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, definitely. We should definitely not miss the bus this time. The fourth industrial revolution, we have to embrace this with the necessary skills. That the skills is the important thing, actually. But also tell me that your group owns the largest supermarket chain. But in this era of digital commerce, do you think the brick and mortar supermarkets are sustainable? And also, to what extent you have plans to take your retail businesses digital? To what extent?
We look at global norms. We can't exactly predict how things will be, but we have seen that even in very advanced economies, there is a place for brick and mortar and there is a place for e-commerce. You notice that Walmart is the biggest retail chain, but we don't know so much that it has the second largest e-commerce setup in the world also. No, third largest behind Alibaba and Amazon. So this mechanism is there for supermarkets because they can complement each other. I believe that we are doing both, but we are doing one with particular focus and concentration because that's the biggest part of the market.
But what do you foresee, like say into 3 to 5 years, do you see your digital business growing more or the brick and mortar supermarkets growing more? What do you think in Bangladesh perspective?
Yes. Say in 2030, we think the digital business will grow many times more, but on a very small base. And the type of items, you have to divide between, like for example, clothing and other kind of items that are non-perishable, where freshness is not an issue, will grow hugely. And places where you have huge variety. So it depends on the type of business. Some will grow each category will grow at different rates and end up with certain eventual ratio between brick and mortar versus e-commerce. But e-commerce will be big everywhere in the world. And it's going to dominate because it is efficient. And when we will have blockchain, trust, higher quality images, and better quality online experiences, hologram experiences, you can see that the world will change significantly. And these technologies are coming. They're just around the corner.
Yeah, great, of course. The new technologies are coming, maybe holographs, that will change the game totally. Speaking of digital commerce, I'll come next to our senior banker, Mr. Syed Mahbubur Rahman. Mahbub bhai, we all know that we are aiming for a cashless society. But do you think it is a plausible idea in Bangladesh? And how much ready Bangladesh is to go cashless? What do you think?
Thank you. In fact, not cashless, less cash. You cannot be cashless society. But if you look at Bangladesh as a whole, 48 years of nation, only last 6 years we have seen transformation. It used to be brick and mortar branch network. And if you look at ATMs came in the late 90s, and it took us time to make people believe that this is something where from you can take the money as well. Maybe in the early 2000s, right, Salim? When people started believing this thing. But it took us time as well. And then if you look at the number of bank accounts, possibly till 2010-11, it was 20 million or so. But if you look at now, I think the MFS space have about 70 million accounts or more. And if you look at the transaction size is about, I think, in December only, the transaction about $5 billion total in a month. And per day transaction is about 1,100, 1,200 crore taka. It's much more than what basically banks does. So definitely, but the digital platform that is being used is basically now a payment platform. We're not being able to use that in a much more efficient manner, but yes, it is now being used also for paying merchants. Number of merchants have also happened in the recent past also, but till now, still is a payment wallet. Look for personal touch. So now the term is now phygital. So you'll have physical as well as digital as well. So you have both. Because just if you look at Western world as well, you have banks for the older people who really love to come to bank, who wants to talk to people as well. Because when people become old, the youngers have to look for places where they can go and talk to have somebody to talk to. So this is required. But definitely gradually we are going towards that. And we'll have ATM cards. I think you have seen now the physical ATM cards. It has also become virtual also. So you will not be carrying physical card also. So this is, we're going towards that. But we as a banking industry, we have not been able to capture that much, do that much, what telcos have done. See how many customers they have in this period of time. But banks really could not do far. Also there are issues with the regulators because you're dealing with the people's money. You just can't do anything what you want. The regulators is always on your back. So despite the fact bank wanted to do a lot of things, but they could not do because of regulations. Now you see the cryptocurrency has come as well. But some countries have given go ahead for that, some countries didn't. Like Bangladesh or many countries didn't really agree to the thing because there has to be some regulator for cryptocurrency as well. So that's basically, I think, we will be going towards a situation where we have less cash, but we cannot have a cashless society.
Okay. So you have been leading banks for a long time now. You have been the president of the association, the Bankers Association, as a very senior banker. we would really love to hear from you. By the way, I mean, for everybody's information, our software industry, they make banking software, even core banking software, and almost 50% of the banks that we have in Bangladesh, they use Bangladeshi core banking software. About 30 banks are using Bangladeshi software. What are the suggestions you can make to our industry people that what features or what are the things that you think are necessary to incorporate in our software so that all banks start using Bangladeshi software instead of foreign software?
I think first is robustness and the safety net. That's very, very important. How secure the system is. If you look at globally as well, you'll see people are using Temenos, people are using Finacle, people are using Oracle. So even two of the largest systems are coming to you. So it's not that we do not want to use Bangladesh system, definitely want. But at the end of the day, we are banks. We need to ensure that the money that has been kept by the depositors are secured. And for that reason, we go for the system. Even if we look at Central Bank, Bangladesh Bank, they have also gone for foreign system. I don't have any negativity about the local system, but we always look for the system which basically give us some sense of security that we are dealing with the people's money, the money is safe. The number that...
But there are 30 banks who are using these.
As the banks are going bigger, you'll see the banks are going bigger and they're getting a different system. Even at MTBL, we're using local system. We have been using the last 20 years. So yes, it is being used, but the more accounts come, the more transactions gets complicated. I think we have not been able to reach that level. But I'm sure in course of time, like India, Bangladesh is also going to make robust system which will be used by different companies across the globe.
Thank you very much. We really need to have a separate session on this particularly, and we will be inviting you there, no doubt about it. Mr. Selim Arif Hussain, Selim Bhai, again, very similar to what I had asked Mahbub Bhai. You see, the fintech is the future of banking. We all know that, and all banking will become internet-based very soon. I mean, all the banking processes, everybody will be not going to the bank himself or herself, but doing the banking from the, all the mobile phone or on the computer. So how do you see the future of banking in Bangladesh? Shall we see more brick and mortar branches, banks, or do you think that many virtual banks will take over? Do you think the regulators are thinking in that way?
Thanks, Almas. That's a very good question. As far as the Bangladesh banking industry is concerned, and myself and like Mahbub, I've been here for about 35 years. For us, the fourth industrial revolution is all about an extension of digitization into completely new or unanticipated ways and outcomes that we don't even understand right now. And we're probably at the rear guard of that. If you, for example, compare our banking sector to, say, neighboring India, we're probably 25 years behind them in terms of digitalization. However, as Arif just said, because of technology, it will not take us 25 years to leapfrog 25 years. You can just go across to wherever, Singapore, Thailand, or India, and buy off-the-shelf systems and roll them out in our own country in a couple of years. So if you look at digitalization in Bangladesh in the financial sector, it was really kick-started, as Mahbub said, by the mobile financial services, by bKash 7 or 8 years ago, Rocket, and the payment industry, again, as Mahbub has said, has skyrocketed. That is doing very well. Banks are still relatively slow. But I can tell you, my particular bank, Bragg Bank, has invested over $100 million already in 2019 and 20, with a view to rolling out a completely digital platform by the end of 21. We're well on the way, and we've invested heavily in hardware, in software, in people, in process re-engineering. All these are focused at, one, enhancing customer experience, two, finding new verticals of revenue, expanding current verticals. 3, significantly reducing costs. We believe our cost-income ratios can be halved if we can digitalize our systems, our platforms properly. And fourthly, also enhance compliance and governance through straight-through transactions. This is going to take time and effort and a lot of money. We have started it. Some other banks are also mulling about it. Yes, it's true that the regulators, as Mahbub just said, have not always been very friendly in this regard. But I'm happy to say that over the last year or so, a lot has changed. For example, we will be seeing electronic KYC approvals coming into the banking sector in the next 6 months. We will be seeing a unified payment platform within this year. So I think you will see the digitalization of the Bangladesh banking industry happening almost exponentially over the next 2 or 3 years. And you'll see customers benefit. Perhaps most important of all, we feel that the government's aim, the development aim of financial inclusion, of that will be significantly furthered through this digitalization. One of the things, bKash, you've heard about bKash, it's one of the largest mobile financial services in the world, probably second only in terms of number of size to maybe M-Pesa. bKash taught us something, that when they rolled out about 18 months ago an app, we were very apprehensive. We thought that, lower income group people or semi-literate people will not be able to use an app. They will not like it. And what we learned was that people can be semi-literate, they can be poor, but they are not stupid. If your app is good, if the functionality is friendly, helpful, then customers, whether they're semi-literate or whether they're 5-year-olds, they will adopt it in an instant. So I feel that digitalization has started in the banking sector. In the next 2 or 3 years, you will see it.
Definitely. One last question. You see, financing or the access to finance is the biggest challenge in the IT industry. What do you think, how can banks, local banks, can come forward to mitigate this challenge? Because this is one thing that our IT entrepreneurs suffer all the time.
Yes, that's very interesting because we've been pushing this hard for some time now. We find one of the challenges is that BRAC Bank, for example, wants to extend financing to many, many software developers, but they are not yet what we call bankable. They don't know how to put up a business case. They don't know much about accounting standards and marketing and how about putting a proposal forward. Because we don't find many software companies actually coming to us. We try, for example, we're working with a lot of smaller e-commerce companies, but larger companies, I can't recall a company having come to BRAC Bank with a proposal saying, this is what we want to do. We want to develop this product for you, for the market, and would you like to finance this? Similarly, Almast, I must say that you asked Mahbub about why the local banking industry does not support or encourage more local software houses. In BRAC Bank, we launched an innovation center about 6 months ago, and we're partnering many different companies. But we still find it difficult to actually find a company that understands what we want to do. We feel that some software companies need to be dedicated or focused on the financial sector alone, rather than trying to, do too many things with too many industries. And we find a strong need not for programming. I think Bangladesh has strong programming development capabilities, but analytical or system analysis. We need people who can bridge the gap between the developer and the customer, somebody who can who can understand what the customer wants and document it and articulate it in a manner that our programmers can understand, and then work to and fro between the two. I think that is something perhaps the industry can focus on a lot. Thank you.
I understand. So you are talking about not the technical skills, rather the soft skills. That is very, very important. And also maybe the project management is very important. Right. Okay, we're actually towards the end of our discussion. Before we finish, I will just go round once again, just for one line advice to the IT industry. You see, the attendees here, the guests here are mostly the owners or the CEOs or the MDs of the IT companies. We have, as you have seen in the video, we have about 1,400 member companies in Bangladesh, in under basis. So most of the CEOs are here and the CTOs are here. So just one line of advice I will start with Naseem and we'll just go around.
Thank you. I'd like to tell the IT community that instead of trying to sell us what you have, sell us what we need. And I'll tell you what we need. We need HR training modules that are video-based and content-driven. I want TikTok videos to train our factory workers. Second, we want software that will help us manage better inventory and material management. And third, we definitely want this to be driven more by AI and BI rather than needing teams of programmers and systems analysts. Thank you.
For our industry, we need affordable, user-friendly, and industry required so that we can use more software for our industry.
Oh, yes. I was really overwhelmed by the great sort of dynamic energy and their passion for the growth of the industry. And I think there are huge opportunity in this country because not only people are young, but I think there's an opportunity where you can really promote more like entrepreneurship. And I think for the innovation, the most important thing is entrepreneurship and also diversification, so that you have a chance to bring in many of the ideas, the people, systems, all from outside, and and then develop it for the better system in this country. And in that sense, I believe that your strength of IT software development abilities are really advantageous, especially when competing in the global scene. And a country like Japan, which has been relatively strong in hardware, but because of the what they call dilemma of past success, it is very difficult. There are so many regulations, legacies in the industry, so it's very difficult to break those rules and come up with new ideas and thinking. So that in that sense, let's work together. Your strength of Bangladesh and strength of Japan.
Thank you. Sarah.
I think my advice is to just get out of your offices. You shouldn't be designing software sitting at your desk. You should be out in the field. You should be talking to your users. You should be talking to the folks that are buying your software and making sure that you're really serving their needs.
I'd like to say, particularly from BRAC Bank, we are open for business. We would like to partner many software companies in terms of developing products and services for BRAC Bank and our customers on one side. On the other side, we would like to be able to finance good software companies and individual software developers in whatever way we can.
I like you to be more professional. That's very, very important because we tried number of small companies And what has happened when we needed more services, we didn't find that people there who has made that program. Or something of that. That's very, very important. So I think the industry needs to be more professional. That is give us the trust and faith and confidence to go ahead to do more with the local companies.
Thank you. I think that you should pitch a lot more to different size companies, large companies, medium-sized companies. You should know a lot about the company you're visiting, bring in modules, connect the modules and show what are the benefits you can bring. I think that Bangladeshi companies need a lot more IT and can benefit from IT in a massive way, but a lot of the companies don't know it. You have to make the presentations in such a way that you know a little bit about their industry. You connect and combine, mix and match several types of technology. Some companies need a lot of database organization capability. Some organizations need some examples of good AI. And if you have domain knowledge and if you can make the right kind of pitch, companies are desperately looking for improving their ROI and improving their performance, align with their thinking, and really make mix and match all these capabilities, show them geospatial technology, show them database management, show them how they can use different types of AI, give them good demos. And I think that you will get a lot of business that way. Because Bangladeshi companies are really hungry for AI. They might not know it, but when you pitch the right way, they will. So that's fine.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Arif. Thank you, Mahbub Bhai. Thank you, Salim Bhai. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Anderson. Thank you, Farooq Bhai. Thank you, Nasim, for taking your time, valuable time, and coming here and participate in this discussion. I'm sure that the audience, our members, have benefited much from whatever you have said and the suggestions and the advices. One thing that I would like to invite all of you, not today, tomorrow and day after tomorrow, we will have the SoftExpo continuing. So please come, send your CTOs, send your head of technologies, and ask them to go around the halls. This is, by the way, the largest software expo in South Asia. And I am confident, absolutely confident, if you see and if your people, if they see for themselves that what nice, fantastic ideas our people have, our companies the software they have, the services they have, you will grow the faith, the trust, the confidence that you have been talking about. So, welcome once again to Basis Soft Expo 2020. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Over to you, Mr. Convener.
Thank you very much, Abbas Bhai. I believe these industry leaders from Japan, from US, and our local industries from different verticals, with their brilliant minds and thought process, they have enlightened us tonight how to move forward for our future business prospect in terms of technology and fourth industrial revolution. This is a very heavy session, not like any concert, but I believe our industry has learned a lot and we can take it forward further. So may I request all of you to give another big round of applause. And now like to Basis wants to honor you with a token of crest for this CxO leadership night. May I request the EC members to come to the stage also. Our EC member to come to the stage. Farhana Apa, is there anyone? Shoaib, Spondon. Just can I take a group photo with the EC members and the honorable panelists for the CxO leadership meet? আমরা আর 10 মিনিটের মধ্যে আমরা খাবার সার্ভ করব। Before that, just আমরা 10 minutes what we have done with the business B2B batch making here in for this SoftExpo tonight. That is, we have collaborated with Dhaka Chamber to Federation of Bangladesh Commerce and Industry, BGME, BKME, MCCI, for the business-to-business local base mapping. And for this, the whole entire show, Rashid Kamal, one of our BASIS member, has taken the initiative. We will be giving 10 best award for this business matchmaking. May I request Rashid Kamal to take this floor.
Good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, just a couple of minutes from you. I know all of us are hungry. So, in fact, this is the first time BASIS is announcing a top 10 recognition for non-IT organization of different sectors. And actually, this recognition, actually, we believe that is important for bridging the IT and non-IT organization and getting them acquainted with IT and digital readiness, and basically for directly connecting with the software vendors. So this is the first time BASIS recognized 10 non-IT organization from different sectors, and these organizations will get recognition, top 10 digital ready recognition from BASIS. This is not an award, in fact a recognition, and they will get some benefit. For example, for today's B2B session, actually, who has signed the contract, in fact, with any software companies, we have given them a discount of 20%, and throughout 1 year, actually, they will get the process improvement support from BASIS members and BASIS. And last of all, they can use this logo, digital ready logo, in their promotional materials and business cards anywhere. So let me invite the BASIS ECs for giving them this award. Recognition. So may I request Almas Bhai, Farhan Appa, Shoaib Bhai, and all the ECs, Mushrik Bhai and Spondan Bhai, come up to the stage, please. And the process has been started, in fact, 1 month back. We initiated EOI from all the industries. And after that, after a filtering process and also by a jury board, we have finalized top 10 companies who are recognized as a digital ready companies. So these companies will eventually eventually be ready for digitalization and automation from any BASIS software companies, BASIS vendors. So this is the first time, and we believe in a couple of years, in next years, this recognition will go on, and which will ultimately encourage or felicitate the non-IT companies to be connected with IT companies directly. So I'm announcing the name of these 10 companies. Just one second, in fact. Almas Bhai, Farhan Appa, please, EC members, can please come onto the stage. Just for giving this honor. I'm announcing the company names one by one, and not in orders, not in terms of first, second, third or something, just top 10 recognition. Number 1, Wisdom Attire Limited. Number 2, D Tempet. Number 3, Raja Metals. And this Raja Metal Industries, in fact, they signed their deal with Divine IT Limited. It's a BASIS member company today. Can we give them a big hand? Just come onto the stage, please. Number 4, Innovative Jute Crafts and Fashions. Number 5, Jolrong. Please, can you just encourage them by your give hand? Number 6, Bridal Creation. Then Artisan Craft BD. Just 1 second. Number 8, Bravo Food Beverage Limited. then Viper Leather, and last but not the least, new Grameen Motors. Can you please everybody come onto the stage and take the crest from our ECs, please. Jolrong. Thank you very much. Yeah, the only female candidate we're seeing, and we believe in empowering female. Thank you very much. Then next, Artisan. Give them a big hand, Artisan. Viper Leather. Oh, another lady we got. Congratulations. D-Tempered. D-Tempered. Bravo Food and Beverage. Next, Innovation Jute Crafts and Fashions. Thank you. New Grameen Motors. Thank you very much. And this is an ongoing process. And the last one is Bridal Creation. Anybody from Bridal Creation? Probably he left due to late. Anyway, thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Can we have a picture all together? Oh, we got Bridal Creation, right? Thank you very much. And last but not the least, we have another arrangement for all the associations. We have selected 7 associations who are working relentlessly, continuously with basis for achieving the digital Bangladesh. So I'm announcing this number 1, MCCI. Any representative for MCCI? Metropolitan Chamber of Commerce and Industries. Thank you very much. Please come onto the stage. Next, Dhaka Chamber of DCCI. This is a friendship recognition, and we should work hand in hand in next days to achieve digital Bangladesh. Dhaka Chamber, please. Number 3, BGMEA. BGMEA, any representative? Then BKMEA. BKMEA. Then Rehab. BKMEA. Thank you. Then Rehab. We know all are hungry. Please, can you please give her a big hand? Thank you. And Ashish. Thank you. And then SME Foundation. SME Foundation. Anybody from SME Foundation? Please come onto the stage. Please. And last, FBCCI. So FBCCI director is with us. I don't know how to hand over this crest. So I'd request our senior vice president, Ms. Farhana Rahman, to hand over the crest to our FBCCI director. This is from BASIS. Although he's BASIS president, but he's also FBCCI director. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Leaving this to microphone to convener. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys are hungry, so we are serving the dinner now. So just within that moment, you will be enjoying the light art show. And obviously, that is going to be at the touch with the technology. Enjoy the light art show and the music and also the dinner. Thank you so much for this tonight. I'm Mushfiqur Rahman again from the BASIS and the convener. So we are a little bit delayed, but I believe it was useful, and good night to you. Allah Hafiz. Thank you. And this phenomenal techno artist is Mr. Jibon Roy. Can we give a big hand? Thank you. He's a techno artist, and so this is another field of technology. সবাইকে অসংখ্য ধন্যবাদ শুভরাত্রি বেসিস থেকে আপনাদেরকে এখানে আসার জন্য এবং অংশগ্রহণ করার জন্য বাংলাদেশ চিরজীবী হোক ধন্যবাদ আপনারা খেতে খেলতেই সফট মিউজিক শুনবেন থ্যাংক ইউ
ল্যাপটপের লাইন কেটে দেওয়া